Hey entrepreneur, this is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Welcome to this special presentation entitled 5 Vitally Important Online Marketing Stats, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, far too many newbie marketers, either they simply are not aware of them and or they neglect them altogether. And unfortunately, as a direct result of doing so, they continuously struggle until, you guessed it, they eventually fail. Let's prevent that from happening going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate purpose of the video you're about to be introduced to is to share with you 5 vitally important fundamental statistics, if you will, that you and any potential joint venture partner, you definitely need to know how to properly calculate. Otherwise, you're putting your money, your time, your effort at serious risk. So not knowing and understanding these 5 proven basic online fundamentals, your business is at risk. There's simply no two ways about it. So that said, let's take a look at these 5 proven fundamental online statistics you definitely need to know how to properly calculate. So here's the very first concept. We're going to take a look at something called your sales conversion rate, or your SCR. Here's how this will work. Let's say you had a total of 150 visitors to a solo ad you recently ran. And for those of you not familiar with the term solo ad, it's a fancy way of saying, let's say an entrepreneur has an online, what's called an e-zine, or an online newsletter, lack of a better word. And they charge for advertising, but because you don't want to compete with all the other advertisers for those limited amount of eyeballs, you pay a premium for a solo ad, meaning you want to be the only commercial advertisers to go out in this particular issue of their newsletter. Now, obviously, if you're going to ask them to eliminate all the other potential paid advertisers for one particular issue, you have to pay a premium, meaning pay more. So that's where the term solo ad comes from. So we're saying a total of 150 visitors actually bought, let's say in this case, your ebook. Let's say this e-zine is about gardening and growing these really beautiful flowers, and you happen to have a book. Maybe it's you're doing it as an affiliate, or it's your own book, ebook, and you're selling it, and it tells people how to grow these beautiful gardens just like the professionals. So as a result of that, 7 of the 150 people actually purchased. So you take 7, which is your customers, divided by the total amount that got to see your sales page, in this case 150, and you divide the two, and the figure you get is 0.046 infinitum, meaning there's a whole bunch of numbers behind it, but to round it up, 0.046 times 100%, and get a conversion conversion rate for this particular campaign only, ladies and gentlemen, that's very important, of 4.67. Actually, it's 4.6666 infinitum, but we're rounding it up to say, 2 numbers after the decimal point, 4.67%. Now, it's very important that you understand that this particular sales conversion rate might be different if you were mailing to your own list. Maybe this is the first time you mail to this particular entrepreneur's list, so you don't go around saying your sales conversion rate in this particular case is 4.67%. This is just a contextual number, so in case someone were to ask you, you could say, well, you know what? In the last solo ad I ran, or it could been a banner ad to produce these sales, or it could have been a classified ad, it could have been an offline postcard, who knows? The point is, you could say they had a similar e-zine size list of 1,000 subscribers, and as a result, this amount of people purchased versus this amount of people that were exposed, and that's where you get that figure. Now, this next concept is also very important. This is known as your click-through rate, or your CTR rate. Now, this is how you'd calculate this number. Again, we're going to say this particular e-zine had 1,000 subscribers. And again, these numbers are being just plucked from air, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing magical about these numbers. They're just being used to illustrate the concepts. They could have 100,000 subscribers, a 500,000, subscribers. It doesn't matter. But for this particular example, we're going to say they had a newsletter mailed to their inbox. And of those 1,000, for whatever reason, 121, it was either your link was either a button, you know, or it was text, that was, hypertext. In other words, something they could click on that sent them through to, in this particular case, we're going to say your lead capture page, not your sales page. And you'll see why in just a second. But 121 people actually clicked through to your lead capture page. So the way you would calculate your click-through rate is you take that 101 people, that 121 people that actually clicked through, and divide it against the total number of people that actually received the e-zine. So you'd get 0.0121, multiply that by 100, and again, as a practical sense, you'd have 12.1% or 12%. And again, this is your click-through rate for this particular campaign only was 12.1%. Now, let's take a look at this third very important statistic, and this is known as your opt-in rate. Now, let's tell you how this works. We're going to use that last example and piggyback off of it. You take your total number of click-throughs. So just to quickly recap, 1,000 people on this e-zine are subscribers to this particular e-zine about building gardens or roses. And 121 people that of the 1,000, 121 actually clicked through. Now what we want to determine is, after they click through, how many of them opted in. So let's say that 38 of the 121 that actually clicked through, 38 of them actually joined the list. So what you do is you take your 38, divide it by your 121, your click-through rate, in this case 121 people, and the figure you get in this particular case is 0.3140. Multiply that by 100, and you get 31.40%, or 31% as a practical matter. So again, for this particular campaign only, you can say your opt-in rate was 31%. And again, if this was the first time you mailed to this particular entrepreneur's list, it could be higher, it could be lower with the next one. So you can't say as just a blanket statement that your opt-in rate is 31%. It might be higher next time, it might be lower. In fact, to give you an example, let's suppose this particular entrepreneur had 200,000 people on their e-zine list and they mailed it out, and you got an opt-in rate of only, a click-through rate of only 10%. And then let's say you got 16% of an opt-in rate, and of that 16%, you made a whole lot more money. So see, it really wouldn't matter. So I don't want you to get caught up on these numbers thinking there's something magical about these numbers. It is not. It's going to vary from mailing to mailing to mailing to mailing that you do, offer to offer to offer you do. You might have a completely different offer that's tweaked. It's got better bonuses, better guarantees. Therefore, everything goes up. But I'm just trying to give you a contextual background so that when you hear these concepts being put out there, you have a much better idea of what's actually being talked about. Now, number 4, this fourth concept is very important. This is referred to as your visitor value. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's say that offer you made resulted in $563.47 worth of business. In other words, those 38 people that actually opted in, we're going to say all 38, which is totally unrealistic. That would be a 100% sales conversion rate, and that is so not going to happen. But we're just, to keep this uniform so it's a little simpler to understand. We're going to say the 38 leads that opted in, they immediately purchased your ebook. Let's say you were offering it for $67, but you had a one-time only offer of $27, and they ended up buying it. And you grossed $563.47. And again, that might be affiliate link commissions, or that's if your own ebook you created yourself, you keep all the gross minus any costs you incurred. But as a result of that, if you take your gross amount, your volume that you did, 563.47, divided by the 38 leads, you come up with a visitor value of what each visitor was worth was $14.82. Now, let's be clear here, because this is where a lot of people get confused. We're not suggesting if you were doing pay-per-click advertising that you're paying $14.82 per lead. No. What we're saying is, for this particular campaign, had you spent up to $14.82 per each visitor, you still could have made a profit. Now, I specifically saved this next concept until after you just saw visitor value, because it's very easily, you get them confused very easily. And that is something that's known as your cost per lead, or your CPL. Now, here's how this would work. Let's say that solo ad cost you $75. And again, it doesn't matter what the number is. It's just there's going to be a cost. Now, or again, maybe it was a banner ad or a display ad, whatever. You paid $75. And as a direct result, 38 people who ended up joining your list, those we need to figure out is, what is your cost per lead, or what is your CPL? For this particular campaign only, it was $1.97 per lead. Now, how do we come up with that figure? We took the amount the solo ad cost in this case, or I shouldn't say, I'm using solo ad, whatever the advertising mechanism, promotional mechanism cost you. In this case, it was $75. It resulted in 38 leads. 75 divided by 38 equals $1.97 each. Now, again, we're not suggesting if you were doing pay-per-click that you should be spending $1.97 a lead. We are only saying this is what your actual leads cost. Now, having said that, there are two primary goals you always want to accomplish with any type of advertising promotion, but especially a paid advertisement or promotion, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, anytime you can, you want to systematically lower your overall cost to advertise and or promote. The other thing you want to do is simultaneously figure out some simple ways of increasing your overall conversion rates, because the combination of those two helps lower your overall cost per lead, or it lowers your CPL rate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, there you have it. You can stop this video anytime you want, write these concepts down, study them, so that you basically understand what's going on, what's being said, and by doing that, believe it or not, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the people online, especially the newbies, who have no idea whatsoever what any of these concepts mean. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, for those of you who want to discover how you can add an additional 25% more gross profit to your bottom line, an entrepreneur, if you're interested in learning how to do that in the next 90 days or less without having to add any new customers or clients, that sounds intriguing to you? Here's what you need to do. You see that JPEG right there, that green image? See that website at the bottom? You need to head over to youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales. Don't forget that part. So you can get that free 9-page special report. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, I got a quick question for you. Entrepreneur, who else do you know in business who's struggling, who could definitely use some help? I've got a question for you. Does this person respect your opinion? Because if they do, here's what I want you to do. I want you to forward this video to them ASAP. That's correct. Because they will definitely thank you for it later. And again, that's only if they respect your opinion. That's what I want you to do for them. Now, if you're wondering, hey, Mark, what do I need to do if I'm serious about getting to the next level, my business, product, or service? Well, entrepreneur, I'm glad you asked, because here's what I want you to do. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Not only do I want you to grab that free 9-page special report, but on top of that, I am going to include, at absolutely no additional cost, a free 22-part small business marketing mastery series. In other words, you're going to receive, on top of the free 9-page special report, an additional 22 sequential emails covering various aspects of marketing on or offline. This is my free gift to you. It's my way of saying welcome to the inner circle and thanks for subscribing. It's a $97 value. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the most critical part for you to understand. Entrepreneur, if after you subscribe to the Inner Circle, for whatever reason, you decide, you know what, this is really good, Mark, but it's just not for me, then, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to feel free to please unsubscribe anytime you want for whatever reason you wish, and we can still be friends. Fair enough? This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing, looking forward to being with you again, once again, entrepreneur, on the next edition of The Marketing Man.